two are still going and there's people, you have the option to end it later.
Oh, we're live. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Woo Woo Wednesday's back.
Yeah.
It's been a few weeks in the evening.
Yep.
And we have a new face, new for this evening's stream. Hank, you've been with me for the shaman talks that happen Thursday mornings, but you have not been on our Wednesday evening shenanigans that we do.
No, I think I just made the cut to be woo-woo enough.
Hank's like, I'm woo-woo AF. Come on.
Right?
Be on.
Like, do we need to design that shirt? We could. Maybe we could.
That would be a really funny shirt. Woo AF.
I mean, it only took me a few hours to design the last one, which I chickened out. I didn't order it in shirts. I ordered it in some stickers to see it like in person first.
Oh.
Hello, Lourdes. Yes. So Hank, if you have caught some of our shaman talks, you may recognize Hank's face. Well, Hank is now here for Woo Woo Wednesday. He's also a reader, not just a healer. So, and we're in a few different platforms. We are on Twitch as well, which this was normally just Twitch, but we're going to try and expand out, maybe bring our people back to, Twitch at some point. But readings are available this evening in general conversation. You're right, Brooke is back.
Yes, I'm back. Hi. Hi, Karen.
Hey, Amy. We may get Sandy back at some point. She's had a lot going on, so there may be four squares maybe at some point.
Ooh. I didn't realize he had this big old party going on every Wednesday without me.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. You know what? We can leave the queue open right now, but if we start getting requests from the other ones, we may have to like close it and then come down. I've got pen and paper ready. Unless you want to handle that, but yeah, because the queue won't necessarily work if we start getting a bunch of requests. Oh, you know what? We miss doing it. It's just been chaos lately. So, but we're finally back.
Grab a deck, actually.
We did keep a secret from him. Hello. Reminder: like we do readings, we do fun, we do general conversation, discussion. So feel free, throw topics in there. If you like a reading, let us know with your name and what kind of reading you might like. Now, keep in mind, we do not do readings dealing with, death, birth, life, those type of things. Thank you. Right, that's the thing. And we'll be able to put up more different chats because we have more than one platform that we're on. But yeah, we do keep things a secret from Hank because he doesn't always behave. So it kind of depends on how much, I feel like keeping him in line. Hank, technically you're older than me, but it's almost like that younger, like kid brother that you have to keep in line.
Oh, of course. That's been the case for a long time. Yeah,
you and JD. He would be cool to get on here at some point because he does spirit drawings.
Oh, that would be cool.
So you could watch that live, maybe. General reading for Amy. Absolutely. So we have Amy. Hello. I was just thinking about you the other day. I'm like, I hope she's okay. I wonder if she's on her trip. If you've been, you got to let us know how it went. All right. But a general reading for Amy. So Hank, generally we, all of us will do just kind of like a 2 to 3 card spread for each person, goofing off in between, nothing long,
okay.
Complicated. There we go. Words are hard.
Are you saying that looking at me for a reason?
No, I'm
because I'm the new guy.
I'm way too long, like all the time, because I'll get into it and I'll be like, oh, and okay, this and this and that, and let's have this thing. Oh, and yeah. Sometimes I have to stop myself from like blurting during other people's readings, and I'm like, just sit quietly.
She kind of does. We're trying to get Veronica one of those little hooks to put her in her wheelie chair to the side. We're like, and it's time to wrap up.
And it's time for Brooke to be done. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo.
Right.
Wait,
All
twirl.
right. Amy wanted a general. And then Judy. Judy, what kind of reading? We can do like romance, work, love, general.
Well, if that's the Judy I know, then you two should read, and I should step out of that one.
Okay.
Just for, depending on what kind of reading they want. I have to recuse myself.
I'll start playing music in the house to make her cut it short. Is there a song that like...
You can't give me a timer. That makes my brain go...
Don't do that.
Timers are the worst.
I was at an expo once where they have these things, I like calling them cattle readings, where you have like 20 readers and everybody lines up for the reading. They ring a little bell, people get up, they switch over, and they started playing the Jeopardy music with 30 seconds left for the reading. And it just was
Speed date reading. That's terrible.
It was really, it just tanked the entire experience of the reading for me. Anyway.
No Hank for Judy. No Hank for you.
No Hank for me. Well.
Is it Hank's Judy?
It is my Judy? Yeah, it is my Judy.
All right. Sure, Amber. What kind of reading would you like? And Hank, if you have your cards ready for Amy, you want to go first, you can.
Okay, so just a general reading, huh? So I will pull 2 cards and just like 2 energies, and I read more esoterically, like Golden Dawn type of interpretations, more so. So we just pull 2 cards, like energies that are coming up as frictions in the life to be mindful of. And so we have 3 of Pentacles, and what this is saying is this might be a case of like chronic trying to figure things out where you can't solve a problem at the same level of problem. Like no matter what side of the dogma you're fighting, you're still in the dogma. So whatever's coming up in your world right now, if it is polarizing at all, take a step back and look at both sides as really just a raw data. And then we have Knight of Swords, which in an esoteric sense, like going back to the Torah, is like a conflict of like how you were brought up versus what you know to be true. So there's like this inner tug of war between what you might really know to be true, like the actual truth, versus the imposed truth that was taught as a child. And we'll pull, you said 3 cards, so I'll do a 3rd one too. And then this is the key to do these friction energies, is the Hierophant, which is good judgment. Like regular judgment is when you're polarizing, but good judgment is you really just have to boil down to, does this serve me, yes or no? Do I prefer this, yes or no? And leave it at that. Anything you start adding onto it is just polarizing one way or the other, and actually accrusts the situation versus giving you clarity of how to move through it with grace.
Right.
Was I fast enough for you, Melissa?
That was awesome. Yeah. That was definitely better than I do. That was very good. So Amy, it's interesting that you said in your general that you're finally moving on, because I'm getting that vibe of like you are on to something else. Here, I'm gonna put my reading glasses on. Become my more sterner lady. All right. So the first card I got was Justice, and I feel like this is you and your need for justice, your need for, and Hank said judgment. I'm like, yeah, I get that. I feel like you have an overwhelming sense of right and wrong, and it's very important for you to be that justice finder, not just for you, but like probably friends, family, probably work, in a lot of those situations. But I don't want you to be too hypercritical about yourself for that, because you also are a wonderful representation of strength. And this is you, right? Moving on. Look at this shit that you're dealing with behind you, right? And that is like and I've got this. Don't even need to look at it. I'm walking on with my furry friend here and moving on to better things. And the last one I got was King of Pentacles, which, I mean, that says it all right there, right? You are the highest form of your resources. That definitely could be money. It's massively about abundance, though. And it feels like you're like super in control of your stuff right now. And that has to feel really good. And I'm really excited for you. I did also pull an oracle, and it was cleansing body and spirit. And that to me says things are going really well, but don't forget about taking this time to take care of yourself, taking the time to nurture, right? Mama cat, baby cat going on there. Like, definitely still take that time. Things are going well and things are great, but stop and consider you. Okay? Stop and consider, like, what am I doing to refill is the word I'm getting. Like, fill up your cup, right? That kind of stuff. Like, you've got to take care of you too. But you're in a good place. So if you're moving on from something that sucked, I'm happy you're leaving that behind you. That's excellent. So it's excellent, exciting stuff coming up, I think.
I'm like, oh, I need to go change our description over here. Because for whatever reason, like the Twitch description doesn't update when you put it in, when you make it. It's weird.
What did it say?
It still has the mysticism right up. So the title's
okay.
right, but the mysticism in the back is still there.
I mean, there's going to be a little bit of that, I'm sure. It's not completely inaccurate. It's okay.
Right? Hello,
I thought it
everyone.
was going to say something naughty, and I was like, what is Melissa doing on Twitch when we're not here?
I will remove myself from screen like do things. Sure, you know what? Let us know your name and what kind of reading, general, romance, work, employment, things like that.
And who's
anybody who,
or did you have,
I just want to mention, one sec, for anybody who's watching through the Holistic Health and Healing group, there's a link you can click to get permission for us to see who you actually are. Otherwise, you just come up as like Facebook user. So if you click that link, it will let StreamYard, which is what we're streaming with, allow us to have that information exchange so we actually see your name.
Yeah. All right, Amy. So we've got the moon, the intuition, but in this part, like, see how she's sinking and falling. Like, it's that feeling of falling too far in. We've got the 7 of Cups, this indecision, this pondering. And I know you said you're finally moving forward and seeing how he has kind of picked one, but I feel like your decision to move forward, like you're still hesitating, like you're forcing yourself to move. And maybe you're not actually really confident in doing that, because then we also have ponder. But there's also this bridge. So a small step forward is better than still sitting and not doing anything, overthinking, not going anywhere. Progress will not be made in stagnation. So even if you're not feeling like it's the right step, or it's still better, because you can change your course of direction in your movement as you get going. If you don't like the scenery of where you're headed, then, change and go down a new path. Hopefully that makes sense. Hey, Chris. We're back, and we've got a new face, because, hey, why not? I'm going to put all the readers through their paces at some point, right? Hey, Sandy. See, she's here, kind of.
Hi, Sandy.
In the background.
Miss you. Oh, I got 2 kitties. I got a Sally Owens and a Crookshanks down here.
Right. Never say, never tell. Let's see. Make sure we haven't missed anybody wanting to join in. So we've got Amy. Judy is next, who wanted a general, but that's going to be Brooke and I, because no Hank for you. Let's see. Hey, Gina. I think I said hey, but hey, Debbie. Hey, Gina. Crystal Cat. Hello. In from Iowa. And feel free to talk amongst yourselves, guys. We can put that on screen. We are in a few different platforms today. We're not just Twitch. We have Hank's friends over on some Facebook groups joining in. Now, I did see a question. Hank, you're about the only real medium. And do you feel comfortable doing a mediumship? Generally, we do card readings on medium.
I don't like talking to dead people. I'm a very bad medium like that.
Right. So, sorry, Sue, not mediumship tonight. Cards and intuition tonight, not necessarily mediumship.
If we do card pulls, I will say my mediumship prayer, and if it's something really strong, I'll work with it. But it's not my. I don't do it. I will see what happens if we do a card pull for them.
And Crystal Cat, I have you down. We've got Judy, Amber, Crystal Cat. Crystal Cat, let me know what kind of reading that you might like. We've got Kieran. Karen, are we doing 2 cards and a lie? Hank's never done one. This might be fun.
2 cards and a lie?
Mm-hmm. 2
Yeah.
cards and a lie. Invented here on Woo Woo Wednesday.
Yep.
I've heard of 2 truths and a lie. I suppose it's something similar.
It's, yep.
Sandy and it's a Sandy Karen formulation. Heard it here first. Yeah, I don't know how long we're going to keep doing over onto YouTube. This was just kind of like a Twitch kind of thing because it's easier to monitor Twitch Rise with a queue for all of the readings. And so when we have, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places right now. And if we have everybody from 8 places coming in at the same time, it's going to be kind of hard to keep the queue straight. Even though we enjoyed cricket here, right? But so we'll see how it goes going to so many places. But Judy wanted general. I think we have, and Veronica, if you're helping keep track of the names, maybe we should default to Veronica so I don't delay in card readings because I'm writing names. Hello, let us know names, guys. Give permission for StreamYard to show your name. Otherwise, you just come up as Facebook user. Karen, 2 truths and a lie. Got it. Or do you want 2 cards and a lie?
So I'd like a 3-card reading, but one of the 3 cards you're like making up and it wasn't part of the whole. Is that how
Yes.
that is? Okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but that sounds like fun.
I think Veronica's saying on she can only see on Twitch, so she can't see the other people, so she would need the names to make a master list. Oh, we don't say that. She would need the names to make a everyone list.
And everyone, okay.
To say that word anymore.
An everyone list.
Yes, an order list.
So we have Judy right now that we're doing general reading, and then I have Amber who's general, Crystal Cat, and then Karen, 2 cards and a lie. Is the list that we have so far. Anybody else, especially if you're on Facebook and you want a reading, let us know, but also put your name and the type of reading that you want, because all we see is Facebook user, and there's not even numbers to let us know Facebook user 1, 2, or 3. So to know that we have the right one. All right, are you ready, Brooke, for Judy?
Yeah, I got some interesting stuff here, Judy. There's definitely some conflict going on, right? The first thing I got was 10 of Wands. For me, when this comes up, this is about I'm making something harder on myself than it needs to be, right? So I feel like that's what's going on here, Judy. You're in the middle of it. Maybe it's work, right? But it might be life stuff too. But there is something in your life that you are definitely making a lot harder than it needs to be. You're climbing uphill, carrying all this stuff. There's definitely better. You're also carrying this cat on your back here. Sometimes that cat can represent a person who is like, this isn't the right word. Dead weight isn't the right word, but they are like depending on you and making you do more, right? They're like, I need to get up there too, but can you carry me? So there's some aspect that you're making it harder than it needs to be. All of our lives are difficult, right? I mean, life is about conflict. That's what it's about. Anybody who has a completely peaceful, no conflict life is not actually alive, because that's a lie, right? I also got the Emperor though. And I feel like when you are in a completely honest space with yourself and you like looking in that mirror, maybe not a mirror, but mirrors can be hard, but like looking in a place where you're being completely honest with yourself, it is better than it feels. Life, this conflict, maybe whatever's going on, it's not as hard as you're making it, and your life is actually, there's a lot of good things to be grateful for going on, and I feel like that's what the Emperor is telling me. I also got the 8 of Swords, and you can just see from this picture there's some conflict here. There's a blindfold. What this is telling me is that we're maybe not being 100% honest with ourselves. I'm so sorry. This is not a fun reading. It's not as fun as I like them to be. But I think that there's, and especially coming with this, I feel like there's some dishonesty going on. It feels like it's from self. It could be out here too. It could be coming from others. And that's maybe making us believe bad things about ourselves that aren't true. But the way to fight conflict is not to give up and blindfold ourselves, right? That's not a good, fair way for you to get through that conflict. And it's not a good, healthy way to deal with it, right? It's hiding. It's, passive. And passive isn't always bad, but if it's leading to all of this hard work that you don't need to be doing, then it's not the greatest thing for you. That's the overall vibe I'm getting, is that you're not being completely honest with yourself, maybe about this specific conflict, but definitely about that cat on your back person. But here's the good news: strength and resilience. So there is a lot of positive abundance and good messages around you. You yourself are way stronger than you give yourself credit for. And also, you're not alone. Look at these people here. There's, we've got a guardian here also. There's a lot going on that's good. And I think maybe it's time to focus on the things in your life that actually feel up here, right? That aren't dragging you down, that aren't on your back, making you do all the work. And maybe those people that make you feel better, it's time to focus on them and maybe cut those other people out. I'm sorry, that's really hard. But the most important thing you've got to be is honest with yourself, really honest, not the mean honest, BS that we tell ourselves, or the BS maybe that we've heard from other people. The real honest stuff. Look, it starts with being incredibly grateful and starting to list the things that I'm grateful for instead of the things that are bothering me, and find the truth in that, right? Find your strength. This is really you. This is the you here. The Emperor, Hierophant, you are High Priestess, okay? That's who you really are. But someone is making you do this. It might be a parent, I'm not sure. That kind of a relationship, someone we think of as above us. I feel like it could be also a friend, but you are a beautiful and incredibly intelligent person. You've super got this. So give yourself a little bit of a break, maybe find a better way to tackle these things, and start telling yourself at least 3 good things a day. Truth, good things, even if they're little things wow, I love my hair. That's a good thing, and that's okay, and that's a truth, and you can move from there. All right? I've got faith in you. You've got this. Whatever this is. I hope that resonates.
Okay. So I kind of feel like there might be some health issues going on that maybe you're ignoring or don't want to talk about. Maybe you got the news and you're ignoring it. You don't want to deal with it. Hecate, goddess of healing, childbirth, mysticism. But in this instance, it's illumination. It's the information you've been told. It is in your awareness. And you're looking the other way. You're not wanting to deal with it. If I ignore it, it'll go away. We have rest, hypnos, rest. Running away from it doesn't fix it. Doesn't solve it, doesn't make it disappear, followed by the warning. So, and this doesn't even necessarily have to be something super huge, right? What's that, saying that we all know in the metaphysical world, if you don't take time to rest, the body will force you, because those little ailments will just blow up because the body's unable to heal itself. And then that little thing becomes bigger. I don't know if maybe you're just really not wanting to address it, or you don't want friends and family to know. But whatever the reason that we're not addressing this, it really is needing to slow down, need to honor yourself, let your body heal and rest, and quit putting it on that back burner for whatever reason that you're doing. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And if you are trying to not let people know, hopefully they're not listening right next to you.
That's always the hard part about these kind of readings. It's like, oh.
Don't ask a question if who you're asking about is right next to you. That's bad form.
Right.
Unless you got earphones in, then who cares?
Right. Let's see. Paying attention to Brooke's games behind her.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a very small portion of a much larger wall-to-floor shelf. Yeah, we do board games.
Nice. My dead weight people are not here. Good.
Sorry I said that. I was like, it kept coming in really loud, and I'm like, don't say that. Then I did. So.
Haunted, can you give Maka a shout out for me, please? If we ever get over, if I ever get over, like, he's one of the people I want to go meet over in the Chicago area.
Oh, yeah.
Room. Let's see. I think we had Amber next. Amber was general. I do believe that was one of the last few. So I have Amber, Crystal, Kath, and Karen. And then I'm trying to put up the people after that up on the screen when they're in other places. So hopefully Haunted can get those down for me. So Amber won a general. We don't have to leave a reader out. As far as I know, this is not an Amber tied to any one of us. Thanks, Haunted.
What's that?
No, I was saying thanks to Haunted. Sure
I thought you said something about Zhang being on. I'm like, well, he's going to cut in here too.
No, I mean, he could be lurking in the background on Facebook for all we know.
Hi, Zane.
Right? We'll be talking about him and some shaman stuff in the morning, though.
So the way that I'm doing this, again, is more of the Golden Dawn esoteric readings or things. But I have the Knight. For the two energies for Amber that are causing the most friction right now, I have the Knight of Pentacles and I have the Queen of Cups. The way that I read, all court cards are soul cards, all queens are thoughts, and the Knight of Pentacles specifically is kind of like a real low vibration. I hate to use the word depression, but just like really getting sunk in with emotions, and those emotions then are translating to like a lot of head tripping. So there's like a lack of clarity of actually getting into your actual knowing. So it's all this, let me put it this way, it feels like you're an empath on steroids, and there's so much in there that's not even yours to begin with, and then it creates confusion about, well, is it really me thinking this? Is it really me thinking that? And when all the while there's like a lot of cleanup that needs to happen. So like the next card I'm pulling, which will just be a major arcana from a different deck, like the soul quality that you need to really look at to start to shift out of that, we have the World. And so like that feels as though not only is there like all this extra stuff to go out, like you're one of those people that I would say could be considered a master manifester. And because you have such a blank slate of possibility, it's easy to jump from one thing to another thing to another thing. And because of all this muddling, it's really hard to get clear on your own knowing. So I would really hunker down and like look at things that could help develop intuition and asking questions, and really asking questions like, if I choose this is a tool from Access. If I choose this, how does my life feel in 5 years? And start to get a compass where you can start navigating and really feel what's going to create more in your life, because it just is getting all bogged down. And then there's like this energy that you don't even start, but you have such a blank slate that you could create virtually anything. And really the question, once you get kind of your guidance back in order, it's really what's going to be the most fun for you, because you do have such an ability to create so many different things in so many different ways. You have a blank canvas in order to really picture your life in a whole different way. And since you had an oracle card, I want to pull an oracle card for her too. This is from the Andean deck, which is a segue. Check me and Melissa out tomorrow for our shaman talk. But we got Kaipacha, which is the middle world. And so all your work is really in this world, because you're getting all these different things from different people. But I'll just read this real quick. Are you noticing increased synchronicities of late? Beloved child of Pachamama, allow the middle world to provide you all the clues you need to find your way. Again, it's about orientation. Call upon the spirit of the Antarango, the black jaguar. She can help you stay on track. So use that animal as an animal ally. Make yourself available to both the seen and the unseen in this material realm. So make sure you check, like ask your guides for help in the morning, open up for their help and your guidance, because you have to ask in order to receive. And look between things, see patterns, watch for sacred signs, live your beautiful life like the sacred scavenger hunt that it is. And you are never clueless, and thank you for noticing. That's it.
That's good. So Amber, I got some interesting stuff here. The first card I got was the Devil. And remember that doesn't mean Satan, the devil. You know, it usually when this comes up for me and a reading, it's about temptation. I feel like it's also maybe about some toxic relationship stuff going on. You can see there specifically this card, these two people basically holding each other's hearts, keeping each other enslaved, right? Maybe holding each other back. I feel like whatever that relationship is, and it may not be romantic either. It could absolutely be a work relationship, could be a friend relationship, it could be a sibling, it could be, you know, parental. But I feel like there's a temptation to stick with that because it's easy, right? Temptations can be really dishonest. And a lot of times when that card comes up, it's about somebody deceiving, right? So I feel like there's definitely some of that there. Again, this might be a community reading today, but there might be some deceiving of yourself that you're doing, right? Some self-deceiving. But I also got the Page of Pentacles, which to me, I feels like there is something new. I don't know if it's specifically a relationship or if it's a new art you're trying or a new job. It's something creative. I feel like it's really creative. And this is saying you're going to start at the beginning, but it could be lucrative, you know, right? We're starting out with a lemonade stand and we're going to grow that into a huge lemonade business or whatever it's going to be. But like, I feel like this coming right after this feels like there is a more positive thing for you to focus on that's in a newer state. And yeah, it's going to take that work to get it off the ground, but it's worth it. The other thing about the easy relationship, whatever that is, whatever that temptation thing is it's actually, the lie is that it's the hardest. It's not easy. It feels easy, which is how we fall into those kind of patterns. But in the long run, it's actually going to be way harder, way more painful, lots of trauma, right? So you want to be careful of that. Then I also got the Three of Cups. And normally for me, when this pops up, it's about a celebration. It's about getting together, and it's very good. And I love this card. It is super fun. But in this case, it feels like that has something to do with this one. And so I don't know if it's your party people, your party group, the place you go to, that maybe is just not the thing, right? It's easy, and it's a definite easy circle pattern to find ourselves in. This leads to this, to that, to this perfectly circle. Be careful. Definitely time for self-honesty. And you got two oracles literally trying to draw one and the other one shot out. So here we go. We've got go with the flow, which is interesting because that seems like the opposite of what I've been saying. But I feel like this flow is the positive flow. This is go with this. Whatever this thing is, don't be so scared about that. You're going to want to roll with that because it's going to take you to look at how happy, peaceful, and tranquil she is. Like, oh my God, that's so much joy there. And the other one I had was accept love, which also feels to me like accepting that other path, accepting that thing that's new and going to take work. But I think overall, it's going to be the way that you find your joy. It's going to bring you a lot of good things, whatever that is. So go with that flow, accept that love, accept actual love, not the fakey kind, right? That ends up being really toxic. So hopefully this resonates and makes sense to you, and good luck.
Right. So first card, we've got Metamorphosis. Changing into better, right? Metamorphosis is usually positive, something good, it's growth. Into the unknown, right? Can seem scary, can feel trepidous, right? Like, oh, where am I going? How's this going to go? How's it going to turn out? Is this safe? But then we have the Golden Palace, and this is just divine and comfortable and perfect. And even that crescent moon up here is in the waxing. It's the growing, it's the creation. This is the time where things are becoming more that you planted the seed and it's starting to germinate and come through and become a thing. So this is the divine, and it's comfortable, it's protected, it's safe. So going into that and allowing that creation to happen and to guide you into the right spot, making sure not to try to undo the creation by overthinking it and getting in your own way. So let that go and let that turn into, that next good thing for you, and not don't get in your own way of it and be afraid in that blindfold to not let it happen. Right, so we have Crystal Cat next, I believe, and she gave us the option of either does she need to pick a new pet sitter or a love reading. She also mentioned earlier that she dreams in full stories, and is that unusual? And I'm going to say no, because most of my dreams are full, start to finish, story plot, so I would
sometimes they're absolutely cinematic.
Yes.
Like I'm in a movie, but I'm an actor character in the movie, and sometimes I'm, and I could be anybody. It's not like this is Brooke in this situation. There could be some dude named Bob. It's not always me. But yeah, no, that's not. I'm looking back. I found her dream. It was a weird dream. She said she had.
Yeah, she doesn't want that one necessarily analyzed, but just asked if it's perfect. So for the reading, she was like, does she need a new pet sitter, or we can do love reading our choice? Brooke's alter ego.
Oh, there she reposted it for us too. Okay. Bob. No, I don't think Bob's my alter ego, but
I have a Bob.
That's an
He stays
interesting
at the
question.
store.
Yeah, you do have a Bob.
Mm-hmm. A big old lava rock skull.
I dream a lot about being a superhero lately. Like that's my go-to. A lot of flying.
Watching Marvel.
I do watch a lot of Marvel. I love it. I love it so much. I love it.
So what are we pulling for? I lost track of what we're
Crystal Cat.
doing.
Crystal Cat, and she says it's your choice, our choice. If we want to do the reading on if she needs a new pet sitter or a love reading. Never mind
new
the
pet sitter.
Music. She's in Vegas, and
okay. Don't come back married.
Yeah.
Don't come back married or broke. That is the best Vegas advice ever.
Right.
And Crystal Cat, aren't you going for somebody else's wedding? Is that you?
I think so.
I remember something about that.
Oh, Crystal Cat's got an ad right now.
Okay, well we'll shuffle for a bit then.
Okay. Well, I pulled cards for whether there should be if they keep the current pet sitter versus going for a new pet sitter. As soon as they're back, I can do that. Yeah. Still doing an ad number 2?
Yeah, let me go in and see how much longer we have of that ad break.
She'll let us know when she's done too.
It's a great time to remind people, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can pick one station that you can watch ad free.
This is true.
Ta-da.
Why not this?
Well, why not?
Why not all of the fun and shenanigans here? It's a party ad for the movie.
I heard interesting things about that movie.
I think it's way cooler to support kind of indie streamers, right? Than the streamers who do it as a career. I mean, not that they don't appreciate your Prime sub, because I'm sure they do, but helping out somebody who's new and up and coming is I
didn't even have to bribe you guys to.
Yeah, it was well trained, I suppose.
That's right. She has one of those clicker things that she's trained us with, and we hear the clicks and we're like, Goddess Elite is amazing. You should support Goddess Elite.
Here's your little treat.
I love Goddess Elite. It's amazing. You should support Goddess Elite.
Veronica, how do we put in a sound effects that work across all platforms? All right, okay. Crystal Cat is back out of the ad.
Okay.
So if you should get a new pet sitter, I drew 3 cards for if you stay with the pet sitter, like how that looks, and if you got a new one. And for staying with the one, I had 2 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles. So there's like a lot of work. Maybe there's some conflict, there's some problem solving that needs to happen. But at the end of the day, if you put a little bit of effort perhaps into the person that's doing it, they really are going to step up, and it's going to be a lot smoother. Whatever's going on with that, there's the potential for it to smooth out. Where on the other side, I have the King of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and then the King of Pentacles, which is, I like the saying, a new broom sweeps clean. It might seem like this is the best person ever, but then all of a sudden there's some conflicts, and then it ends in like a worse position than what you were with the first person. So from the 2 paths, it would be more, well, you can pick what you want, but of course it looks like it would be a little bit lighter to stick with this existing pet person that you have.
Thank you, Karen.
Karen.
She's like, pay $5. It's less than my McDonald's.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. I now know that person's name is Karen.
Mm-hmm.
So I went completely against my character and what I usually do, and I did a love reading, which, you know, anybody who's been here before, you know, I don't like doing love readings. I know they make me uncomfortable, but I love love. That's not the issue. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. There's a little bit of a, you know, like, will I be with this person in the next one? Those kinds of love reading. Just overall general is okay. So that's kind of what I did here. Crystal Cat also, I kept hearing in my ear, self-love. So there's a little bit of that here too. First of all, I got the 8 of Cups, and this tells me that it is difficult for you maybe to feel completely satisfied with the situation. Like, I feel like there's a bit of a wander in you, and a bit of a, but something might be better just around the corner, right? I mean, look at, you have this lovely collection of cups, but you are off questing for the next one, is what this feels like to me. So, I'm not going to say commitment issues, but maybe there is a little bit of fear of, is this all there is? Is this enough? And if this is about self-love, you know, am I good enough? Am I really happy? So once again, it's coming up for me a lot, the self-deceiving, self-honesty stuff, that's come up a little bit for every reading for me. The Chariot I got here, which also I feel like has to do with this wandering and really not knowing which direction to go. So I'm just going to level with you real fast and say, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I have been incredibly lucky in love. I've had some difficulties in the past, but I have an incredibly stable, beautiful relationship, right? So you're hearing this from someone who got it fairly easily compared to, you know, what other people have to go through. Not going to pretend I didn't have a lot of bad stuff in my past. I did, but I'm in a really great relationship. So what I'm saying is, this might sound a little heavy-handed coming from someone who has that privilege, okay? But what I'm feeling like is that if this is your focus, finding love, finding this relationship, finding this checklist of things that I need in order to be happy, I feel like you're going to be doing this a lot. Which way do I go? Because there's not a lot of satisfaction and happiness in that, right? When we make finding love our job and our pursuit and the point of our lives, I know that this is like a bumper sticker, but that's the easiest way not to find it, right? There's a lot of truth in that. The other thing I got here was judgment, a different judgment than before. And what this feels like to me is you are a very hard judge of yourself. And that, probably coming from some sort of a parental place, is made you a real hard judge of other people. And are you one of those people, like, there's a movie popping in my head, I will not say the name of the movie, but like everything's going really well, and then one weird thing that you notice, their toe is longer or something, right? And you're just like, oh, I can't be with that person, you know, something like that. That's literally the the line that's popping up in my head. There was a character who was in a great relationship. I hate that I've watched this movie, but here you go. Anyway, but he left a very good relationship because one of her toes was longer than the other. It turns out by the end of the movie that this character had something about themselves that they felt they needed to hide. They had a personal defect that they thought was so horrible and horrendous that what they started to do was judge other people by that. Everybody needs to be perfect, physically perfect, emotionally perfect, you know. And the truth was, it was an issue that he was having about himself. I feel like that's what this card is saying, okay? The oracle that came out was air magic. And this feels like this is about, yes, maybe you should like invest in learning a little bit of air magic properties, but I feel like this is more about listening to messages. You can see he's got a quill there. We've got some gorgeous incense going, and we've got a falcon right there. And that tells me that there are some messages that have been coming to you, probably from you, from higher self, from air, from this really high place. And you've maybe not been listening, okay? I want you to, the next time that happens and something feels up here, I want you to listen to it, okay? Because that's coming from a really good place. So overall, I guess the overall button message is, it'll happen when it happens, which is, I know, bullshit to hear. I apologize. But it's don't spend all of your time and your energy running around trying to find true love that's perfect and fits all of these check marks. Just try and find happiness. And literally, I already said earlier tonight, find your joy. Whatever that is, that's the place to build a relationship from. Okay? You're amazing. You've got this. And have fun in Vegas, and don't get married, and don't be broke.
Right. And if you're gonna get married, do it with Elvis. But preferably.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
How do you not get married in Vegas and it not be Elvis?
And not have Elvis, unless it's like Captain Picard, and that's okay. Right. Like I've heard that there are Captain Picards in Vegas that marry people, and I support that.
Is there a Vader? Cool. You know, that does wedding? Because I would rather have Vader, Darth Vader. And I'm not even that big of a Star Wars fan, but I mean, it's Darth Vader.
That's interesting that you say that, Melissa. I will not analyze that right now, but that's interesting.
I'm always the villain's fan. Always the villain's fan.
And that's the way you want to start your wedding, your relationship.
No, I've been there, done that twice. I'm not dumb enough to ever do that shit again. Anyway.
Interesting.
What card do we have? The authentic self, the mask. Like they are all off. And as this was being pulled, I was going to let the cards decide what this is for. I think it's more love, but I can see how this can go either way. And I hate sounding like so open that it can be either way. And then we have surrender, but I was kind of leaning like this is going to be more love, right? Because then it's opportunity and the caterpillar and the fact that crystal cat, right? Kitty cat. Has there been somebody trying to get your attention, kind of hinting to the date, and you're like, nah, you're not my kind. You're not my type. Nah, I like you over here on this side of the wall in this little box. Nah, you know, it might be worth what's the hurt to maybe try at least a coffee date, a dinner date, you know, unless you know for a fact this person is harmful, but I really don't think they are. I think maybe they've come up awkward because they're trying to get your attention, but they are so nervous about it that it's dumb the way they're doing it, right? It's just not how you would normally want them to approach you. But, you know, they are being genuine. They're being authentic. They are trying to give themselves to you in that, like, here's me, try me. But it is an opportunity, and surrendering to it. Like, what's coffee going to hurt? What's tea going to hurt? What is a few hours in that afternoon going to hurt? Well, good, right? You both can be awkward together, you know? And if you don't know who this is, I bet if you kind of start paying attention, like if you are that coffee person, like who's that barista that kind of carries on the conversation maybe a little too long or already knows your order, is kind of awkward in handing it to you. just maybe instead of being maybe rushed for work, just kind of paying attention to who's around and who's giving that little bit of attention in an awkward way, and see what happens. But yeah, there you go. All right, now we've got the challenge. We've got Karen.
Oh, 2 cards and a lie.
Mm-hmm. And then depending, I'll be logging or taking myself out of the stream to go do dinner.
You've got dinner.
I do, but you guys will have Brooke and Hank and all of the shenanigans unsupervised.
Unsupervised. We can supervise ourselves, I think.
No.
I have access to the control panel because I can be trusted.
Brooke, it'll be up to you from Florida without the back end controls of keeping Hank in line.
Click, 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 click.
Right.
Yep, yep.
Right.
The thing that we, that's that clicker thing that they, train animals with. That's what I need. I have Veronica, so she'll keep me in line. So, sorry, Veronica.
2 cards and a lie.
Oh, okay.
So it is like a reading, and one of the 3 cards is just not
one
true.
of the 3 cards is a lie. So that's what I do, Hank, is I talk to my deck and I tell it that this is what we're doing, right? And so far, it's always done pretty well. The first time we did it, I didn't do that. I drew 3 cards and then just lied about one of them, right? What I felt the meaning was, and that was fun. So that's usually what I do. Everybody's process is different,
okay.
Obviously. But.
All right. I would like to not go first so I can see the 2 masters in action first. It's my first
no
time
diving
at
in
this.
for Hank.
Yeah, I want to see how you guys pull off your shenanigans so I can emulate it a little bit.
Much shenan and lots
I
of
can't
dance.
say we do it with grace. We fumble
Okay.
along through it.
Fumbling along. All right, but I got my 3 cards.
And sometimes even in showing what the 2 card lies are, like the message printed on the card, it's still appropriate for.
I mean, I just roll with it and whatever,
yeah.
The energy, the universe tells me that I say that. There was one time that we were trying to do a lie, but the message was too important, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna tell you.
This is what we're doing.
Yep. Okay. Also, the other thing you can do is you can do 2 cards on a lie and let them decide which one was the lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. Karen, I got 4 of Pentacles. So I feel like there are some sort of resources that we are hanging on to in a scarcity way. We're not showing anybody, we're not sharing, we're not going to be giving of our time because we feel like if we give one more thing, we're going to lose it all. So we're hanging on and clutching all of our little pentacles, resources, time, whatever it is. And this is usually not true of what's going on in our lives. So pay attention to those scarcity impulses that are popping up. It can lead to all sorts of issues. Okay. So also I got 2 of Swords, which feels like there is a very unfair blind fight going on, that you are defending yourself with your eyes closed. And just like, I'm just going to whack away here and see, I'll hit somebody, I'm sure. So this is not the healthiest way to do that. And I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you're scared of? What is it that we're hiding from? Because that could be an issue, and I'm not following my own rules because the message is important, damn it. Okay, give me 1 second. One more card. Not that one.
And
nope,
you missed,
not that one either.
You said the wrong name. It's Swords.
It's Swords. It's the
right.
2 of Swords. Karen, there's a lot of swords coming up here. I'm not comfortable with this. All right. Okay. All right. So the other card I got was the Empress, which means, you know what? Everything is fine. And this Empress is not just an Empress. She's an ice Empress. Do you see that ice? that Snow Queen action going on here. This is because you are absolutely a Snow Queen. You are, the cold never bothered you anyway, and you could give about anybody else and everything else that's going on, because you are going to sit on your high in the air snow throne and be alone, and that's where you're happiest, because everyone else can just F off, right? That is absolutely what's going on here. And these are actually, I went and drew a whole bunch of cards, but these are actually the original 3. So I did follow my rules. I just didn't trust myself. But that's my issue, not yours. Karen, I love you. Don't be a Snow Queen bitch, okay? Don't do it. All that's going to lead to is frostbite on your ass.
See, I'm glad you went first because I wasn't going to show the card. I was figured it's easier to lie about what card it is.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Okay, well, I'm glad I had a little bit of an observation.
All right.
So, but you're just you're showing one card that wasn't true then, of the actual pull.
One of those cards was a lie. Yes.
Okay, I got what you're putting down now. Okay.
So we have.
I like that better.
Lay of the land, ancestral wisdom, kind of feeling around, bumbling around, trying to figure out, what the hell you're doing. Being a little bit hesitant, a little bit of a scaredy cat, but kind of dipping your toes in that water and figuring out just what you're going to do about it. And kind of listening to the voices talking to you, right? Hoping that they're the right ancestors. Even if they're not the right ones, you can tell them to bugger off. You don't have to listen to all of them. Experiencing as it's come, as life is coming at you, are you following along? Are you doing what everybody else says? Are you just riding along? Because you know what? Now it's mindful. You are just doing what everybody says. You're unable to think for yourself. And, you're just another sheep in the flock, right? You're just doing everything. You're not paying attention for yourself. You're not, can you tell which one's the lies? You're just kind of going, right. So, are you paying attention to too many of the voices and what's going on around you and just kind of going along blindly, not thinking for yourself? Are you? Maybe use some of your Frost Queen and kind of freeze up some of that water and make your own decisions, Karen, Bueller. Your turn, Hank.
Okay. Well, first we have the moon. And from an esoteric perspective, this represents letting go of things, letting go of open energy loops that you might have started to put energy into, and the loops are open, but you're really not going to finish it. So it's really a key thing at this point in your life is to look at the things that you're still putting your focus on, that you're really not going anywhere with, and it's just taking a bandwidth that you could use that energy and actually put into things that you want to come into fruition. The other part of this, unique to this particular card that stands out to me, is the moon is your best buddy to have the illumination of the sun on the deepest, darkest shadow and imprints that you really need to look at in terms of your shadow work. And you want the power of the sun, but you don't want to just have it hit you and have a lot of hucha, hurricane. Hucha is the word we use in our tradition for heaviness, but the moon is that subtle transition from the sun that can light the shadow and let you look at those things and really let it come into new fruition of what you can use those things for. 10 of Swords is it kind of goes along with letting go of energy loop things. This is things that are showing up in your reality that stick a fork in me. I'm done. It's time to really let go of the things that were just working for you instead of serving you. And then we have death. And this is a resistance to really putting an ending to the old you and allow the new you to emerge. So you can guess now which one you think is the lie. Is that what we're doing?
You can. But, because you're new, we're not going to yell at you, but you also mispronounced swords. So,
no. Swords. Is this from that movie? That movie that I've never seen that you always reference?
No, I don't think so. It's just a rule here.
It's just something we started doing, and
Okay, well, I have been appropriately reprimanded, and I know they're packing, so maybe they can't.
Right.
You don't know.
Oh, Karen's still here. It's Crystal Cat that's packing. Yeah, Karen's listening.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't know? Should I just tell you? Do you want to guess which one was a lie?
All right. Well, while you guys have fun, I'm removing myself. I'm gonna go have dinner. You guys have fun. Behave yourselves. Don't get the channel banned.
Yeah. The lie was the death card. These two were the cards. This one I pulled extra. The actual third card that would have been part of the reading is judgment, and that is all about really your gift of discernment and judgment. About it's really heartbreaking. Like the judgment that you have to. It's really about breaking free the judgment you have on yourself for letting go of these things, because a lot of these things that aren't coming to fruition and that you're really done with in terms of work for you, they are things that you love. And it's hard to like let go of those sometimes, and that's the real third card. It's not about putting a death to things. It's about the judgment and moving through the heartbreak in some cases of letting go of the things that you put some energy into that aren't going to really serve your soul in the long run. Ta-da. Yay. There you go.
Veronica, do you know who's next? Or I should say in here. Oh, you already said, didn't you? It says it right there. If I would have just read. Yeah, that's so much effort for me. It's really far for me to look over there and like read everything. So thank you, Veronica. Michelle with a health reading is next.
Okay, which one is?
Thank you, sweetheart.
What's the actual screen name of the other? Oh, Michelle's next.
Yeah, Michelle is next.
Okay, health reading.
A health reading for Michelle.
Well, I will see what happens. I don't normally do health readings, so I will say the disclosure that I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not claiming to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. So what's up with the body? What's up with there may be what's affecting the health a lot is a relationship that might not quite be an Aini. And so Aini is a shamanic term in the tradition Melissa and I practice. It means divine reciprocity. And specifically giving more than you are able to receive. If you give and give and give and give and give, if you're a people pleaser, it's causing like an imbalance of Aini, which it might start energetic, but then it can boil down to something physical. So like the solution in whatever the health problem is in putting your relationships in right order and being in Aini with everyone. And Page of Wands is like, it feels like you might be leaping before you look in some cases. Like there's so much passion in some actions that sometimes there's a rush to action and just like taking a moment of discernment. Let me focus on health though. I'm going to put these cards away. Because this is really more appropriate. We got Kai Pacha again. I'm going to go back to Aini. That the thing that what's showing up physically is really about an imbalance in energies with what's showing up in your reality. And it's not just a relationship. It's also like, it might be a little bit of victim mentality that if life is happening to you instead of through you, you give away your power to change it. And it just bogs down the body and the being. And I will also say that the thing that comes to me is that there is an incongruence of the body and the being. So there's like the thymus, and on my YouTube channel, there's a video called Activating the Seat of the Soul. And it's an energy process that I walk through on the Sonic Shaman YouTube channel, if you want to check that out. But like starting to run these energies through the thymus to bring the body and the being together, it just feels like things are just misfiring just ever so slightly, but then it's creating this trickle effect of like a lot of just odd things showing up for you. And I will, if you have questions or if you give feedback, I may say more, but I think that's all I got for the moment.
I had something interesting pop up for me. Like I really felt like I should just do the reading with Oracle deck. So that's what I'm going to do. I got inspiration and courage. And this feels to me like I'm going to project a little because I've had some health stuff and I'm getting that reference to me a little. So some of this may feel to people who know me listening that a little bit of projection, but since that's coming up for me, I feel like what's going on right now, and again, say everything Hank said, not a doctor. I am not going to give you medical advice, but I do feel like your life has changed pretty dramatically, or is changing pretty dramatically, maybe because of a health issue. And the hardest part about it is the acceptance part, right? And so I'm feeling like inspiration and courage around you is trying to help you with that acceptance. That doesn't mean that this is your way of life forever, Michelle. This is just what's going on right now, right? And so give yourself space to deal with this issue, whatever this is that's happening, this thing that's holding you back. Give yourself some space to deal with that, and give yourself the same amount of space that you would give someone else who has the same health issue, okay? Do not demand more from you than you would from some other patient suffering from the same issues, because I'm feeling like that's what's going on. And it was funny that Hank mentioned passion, because the second card I got was give in to the passion. And I feel like combined with inspiration and courage, what this is saying is, even with this issues, whatever this illness is the least interesting thing about you. You are so many other things, and it's time to start enjoying those other aspects of your life. Just as we said before, or like I said before, about like the search for love can't be all that you do. The search for a cure can't be all that you do, right? So I feel like I love this card. It's gorgeous. It's fiery. It's beautiful. Butterflies and music. Give in to those passionate things, the things that are making you happy. That is automatically going to lift you up into a place that is better and airier, and it's going to take some of that heaviness away, because I feel like there's a lot of heaviness right now. But I got tears for joy and sadness. And this is the last card I got for you. And what this is telling me, there is definitely some stuff that it's okay to grieve about that maybe isn't the same way it used to be, or it's harder for you than it used to be, or it's just a thing that you're struggling with. Again, I don't feel like this is a permanent thing, but I feel like it's definitely been dramatic, to say the least, right? And you are not being too dramatic. Also, that's important to remember when you are dealing with aches and pains or whatever it is that's changing in your body. You're not being dramatic by acknowledging that, recording it. That's important to do for doctors, by the way. Keep a journal and write down the symptoms and things that you're going through. The good message of this is there's a balance to everything, right? And to the things that are feeling horrible and constricting and feeling like it's changing in ways that you really don't want it to, there's also the same level of joy and happiness. You just have to know where to look, right? And so that's life. Life is about that balance of good and bad and how we handle it. Because no matter what, no matter how sick someone gets, they can always choose how they feel about it, how they deal with that, how they continue to live their life through that. So I want you to take the inspiration and courage, give in to the good passions around you, and celebrate the good as much as you celebrate the bad. And by celebrate the bad, I mean, harp on it, think about it, focus on it, right? Giving energy to that stuff. A healer friend of all of ours, actually, Nanette, one really good thing that she has taught me and a lot of people who've listened into her stuff is whatever this is, whatever this health issue is, don't claim it. And by that, I mean, don't say my anxiety, my gastritis, my whatever it is. It is a thing that you are dealing with currently, but you do not own it. Once you own it, you're giving it permission to hang out, right? You're like, it makes it harder to let it go, right? And I know you don't want to be sick. I know you don't want to be sick. This is not what this is about. And you are really dealing with these issues. It's real. It's real, real, real. Okay? Don't let anybody gaslight you into not believing what's going on with you is real. And worthy of your attention. It is real. And I hope you have doctors, and I hope you see them, and I hope you listen to the good advice. And if the advice doesn't feel good, find another doctor. Okay?
Yep. There's one thing. I pulled another card just from my ancestor deck, and I got whole self health. And on there it says natural therapies, balance, Ayurvedic medicine. And while you were talking, the other thing that this is like a general thing for anybody going through any health issue. Ask yourself, what do you love about this health issue? I had a client once who had lupus, and I asked him that question, what do you love about your disease? And they're like, nothing. I don't love anything about my disease. And then they were sitting on the table almost offended for a while. And they say, you know what I love about my disease? I use it as an excuse to not do stuff. If I don't want to do something, I say, I can't, my lupus is flaring up. And the big aha moment was she doesn't need the disease in order to say no.
To say
and
no.
So whatever this has been
Powerful.
empowering you to suddenly do, or if you're getting attention, or if all of a sudden you can get away with being more passionate because of this or whatever, recognize that you do not need whatever's going on in your health in order to choose these more freeing things, or whatever it's giving you, you can do it without the health issue.
Excellent. Our next is Tam Living. Tam, we did not get what the reading. Oh, it was a general reading. Thank you. Excellent. I was just going to say, when we don't know what the reading is, we just do a general, because that usually the message that you need comes through in that anyway. So
yeah. Okay. So let's see what we have. So the way that I do them is like I have two cards that are. I guess will be four cards. So the frictions that are happening, we have the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is, it may feel like there's a little bit of work to do, but eventually by doing this work, you're going to have a high ground. So there might feel like there's a lot of conflict now, but you're trudging through and you're climbing that mountain. And at some point, you're going to be able to turn back and you're going to have a whole different perspective, a whole different leverage point. And it's not that you're better than people, but because of your perspective and the work you're putting in now, it's going to give you a different position to deal with things with a lot more ease. And this is specifically with relationships, with love and things. And really, it's the whole life that this one thing, like just go ahead and do the work now, and don't give up on it, because it feels like it might just be like whatever you're focusing on right now may just be tedious, would be the word I want to use, but it's worth the effort because it's going to get a lot easier after you put in the work. And the soul quality that's going to really help you balance all that is the Emperor. And when I read this esoterically, the Emperor is all about, don't get caught up with adding things to the raw data. Like if something shows up in your life and you start projecting into it, the raw data might be someone didn't show up for work for one day. It doesn't mean that they're sloughing off. It doesn't mean that they're an a-hole. It doesn't mean all these things. The raw data is someone didn't show up. So like the real key to like making through all this is to save yourself the time and energy of having to sift through all these extra projections that might have been laid onto a situation, and ask yourself, what is the raw fact or data here? And that's it. And don't lean into anything else. And that's going to make the process of trudging up that mountain to get that different perspective a lot easier for you.
So the first card I got was Ten of Swords. And so I feel like there's definitely some conflict going on. I feel like, again, we're making things harder on ourselves than we need to be, and we're probably trying to ignore. I feel like there's some procrastination happening. And I also feel like we're reaching here for this, when what we should be, this escapism is what popped into my head, escaping. But what we should be doing is getting those swords out, right? We can't pretend that we're fine when this is our reality. We are super not fine. So what that means to me and for you, Tam Living, is that there probably has been some procrastination, and that might be how we got here. It could be work procrastination. It could be self-work procrastination, possibly. But the good news is we see this for the truth that it is, and you can do something about it. And the next card I got was King of Swords, which to me, what this is feeling like to me is that whatever this conflict is, you actually can have a level of mastery over it. But you have to do the work. Whatever it is, whatever this thing is, you have to do it in order to strategically get yourself into the best position. And that's what I feel like this is going on here. Like you really can make this conflict go the way that you want it to, whatever that is. But it won't happen if we don't get past this point. If we don't, like, reaching for this what is that going to do? That's not going to help her, right? She's got to get these out. She's got to deal with this before we can, move on to the next thing. But the good news is also Queen of Cups is here. And to me, what this feels like, we've got things are better than we think they are, for sure. Like, this feels like the reality. Look at all this abundance, literally pregnant with the new stuff that's happening, the new delivery. There's a lot of creativity here. There's a lot of flow here. These fish are literally jumping out of the water for her, right? Feels like they're like gonna jump right into this bowl that she's got, the shell of water. They're like, here, this abundance is here. Quit pretending it's not, right? And see the reality, because if we get a hold of this and we get this taken care of, this is where we're going. Like, there really is like some good stuff. It's already there. That goodness is already there. It really is. It doesn't feel like it, but that scarcity's best lie is for you not to see how abundant things actually are for you, right? So I feel like that's going on. I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle. I meant to, I didn't, so I'll just pull that right now. Okay. Meditation for creativity. Look at that gorgeous fire magic there. And I feel like creativity came up earlier with the Queen of Cups, and that's what I heard in my head was creativity. So I think that there is some creative juices that we are not let flowing. Maybe that's what the procrastination is about, maybe not. But look at how effortless this is for him. He's pointing that fire wand at that canvas and it's painting away. Look at the joy of the pets that are paw printing and painting, like right there, right by him. This is what creativity is supposed to be. Creativity is not supposed to be pressure and sell it and get the money for it. This is what it should be. And when it says meditation for creativity, I think that means it's time to focus on that free-flowing, abundant, creative energy and like bringing that in, right? We talk about abundance. The difference between scarcity is I'm holding on to everything and I'm doing this, and so abundant stuff can't get through to me. And that abundant creative energy that's literally flowing around all of us, that if you open yourself up to it, maybe with meditation, whatever that means for you. Remember, meditation isn't it's whatever it is for you. And if meditation for you is writing a poem, write that poem. If meditation for you is a walk, go on that walk and open yourself up to what the universe is trying to provide for you. I hope that makes sense, because I really feel like there's a lot of positive stuff around for you. And next is yo. Okay. And they just want a general reading.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I got the Five of Wands, and there's two parts to this. One, the more esoteric meaning is this is about being part of the community, even if you think you're causing conflict, that it's still important for you to share your uniqueness. But specifically here, this is also about you being totally done being judged. Like when people are throwing their opinions and their projections at you, and in the past, it may have been something where you shut down because we were taught as children. You see your child acting out and you say, then people are looking, stop being. So like all people's judgments based on how we're conditioned from our parents, we're taught to stop being in the world. And this is really the time to not allow yourself to be burned at the stake and all that you really want to step into the community and really show your authenticity, because each of us has a unique medicine gift to offer. And if you're not showing up and actually being that, it's not what your soul really came for. And Six of Swords, this is one of my favorite cards. Esoterically, this is like all sixes are love cards. And Six of Swords is love without a reason. And this goes along with the authenticity and the fact that do not feel that you have to justify your choices. That is a courtesy if you're giving people, the reasons behind something. But like, it's one of my few favorite Bible verses. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. No one can refute just something that you're choosing. But if you go to a car dealership and you say, I'm not buying today because I don't have money, they're going to say, we can finance you, we can do this. They try to overcome the objection. If you're just not buying, there's nothing to overcome. That's just your choice. So the most power is just in your choice for the sake of the choice and not having to try to reason why you're doing it. And then we have the King of Cups, which esoterically, all kings are the will of the soul. King of Cups is like, you need to have the feeling being the driving force of the will of the soul. Don't try to think it. If you're thinking about it, you're already one step off of that true impulse of authenticity. So really settle into the heart. And what do you feel about this? And really start to navigate with that instead of the head, dropping the consciousness into the heart and let that being the navigating point. The head has two purposes. One, ego, which tries to talk you out of everything because it only knows past data and it freaks out at future possibility because it doesn't know the outcome and its job is to keep you safe. But the other thing about it is once you do decide on what you want to do, you don't listen to that stuff it tries to talk you out of. You say, no, hey brain, we need to figure out how we're going to do our part in actualizing where we're actually directing our life now. And I'll leave you with that.
Fantastic. All right, so right off, I got 7 of Pentacles. This is, we've put in we're putting in hard work and we're getting a harvest from that. And again, not to piggyback, because you try not to piggyback off someone else's reading, but sometimes if someone goes ahead of you, you're like, yeah, this makes sense, right? This resonates. And and what I'm feeling here, look at her harvesting. Look at that gorgeous fruit that's growing on that vine. And Pentacles, remember, resources, but also it could be money. It absolutely could be money. Money is a resource. Money is an energy. It is a tool, right? We unfortunately spend a great deal of our time looking to make more of it. But I'm feeling like I feel like this is pretty positive. I feel like, there's some really good things that are coming. You've already put in some work. It's just going to take a little bit of time to ripen, right? That's what this is telling me here. It's maybe not ready to harvest it just yet. It still needs some looking after, but there's some good stuff coming. And then what came after is 4 of Wands. Look at that gorgeous celebration going on right there. So I feel like this might be a partnership. This might be a relationship, right, that we're going on here. It might be a family. And good stuff is coming. Like the celebration is nigh. There are also sometimes it's literally a celebration is about to happen, right? So I don't know if somebody's birthday is coming or something like that, but this coming with this feels like it might be the actual harvest time is coming. But then I got this Hermit. And it's funny because some people see this and they get such negative, isolated vibes. But to me, what this is about is spending time with your true self, which has kind of come up a lot tonight. Also, introspection. There's nothing wrong with being introverted. There's nothing wrong with taking that time and energy. I'm not saying you're an introvert, but there might be a little bit of the introvert about you. And what this is saying is honor that. Honor that piece and part of your soul. Whatever you need to do to recharge after this is okay. I have a friend who has to take a bath every night. She just has to. It's a part of her ritual. It's a part of her recharge. She's an extroverted introvert, and she's a performer like me, very comfortable being on stage, does a wonderful job. But when she gets to her quiet time, she has to have that bath. She has to have that peace, and that's how she recharges. And there's nothing wrong with that. And don't let anyone tell you there's something wrong with that, because there's not. Okay? I feel like maybe there's a somebody in our life who's like questions that kind of stuff and is like trying to tell you. I'm not telling you to like run away from this person. I'm telling you to stand up for yourself. Okay? And take that time. Also, I'm so sorry. Prosperity and abundance. Look at that. This is the harvest has happened, and now we're kicking back and enjoying it. You know, we've done the gardening, and this is what's coming. And sometimes this is where you are. With some things, this is where you are. But also, you've got this to look forward to. Prosperity is a feeling like money, like abundance and prosperity. I mean, like, it is real and it's here. And if we have chosen our lives, then it's time to decide, what am I trying to teach myself with all of this conflict that's going on, right? Why is this what I chose? What is this? What am I trying to do? What is my actual real goal? And once we find out some of those answers, we get this lovely feeling right here. Get to a good place, and acceptance, I think, also is something that'll be helpful. So thank you so much for coming and seeing us again. Hope that helps.
Yeah. And just a note, I have to hop off in 14 minutes, so we might have time for one more.
One more?
On the list. And then the other thing I want to say, when it comes to piggybacking in situations like this, we read so differently. I don't think that I have no problem with piggybacking. We could read the same 3 cards 2 different ways and both would be valid,
Yeah.
So
I do that too.
I don't like
That's
it in development circles.
Yes,
development circles is a different thing. It's like you're trying to learn, don't piggyback. But like in a situation like this, I'm all for it because it just gives added validation to what's coming through, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, sometimes, like you said, our messages are like so different, but also there's a connection, right? There's a synergy to it. Yeah, and that happens a lot. Sometimes one of us, when we've been doing this with Melissa and several people, one of us will literally, and you did it tonight, reference the card that someone else pulled. Even though it wasn't their card, they'll say the justice. They'll say, justice has come up a lot tonight. That also happens a lot. We get a lot of communal energy readings.
It always happens on live streams because there's something for everybody in each message.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So Veronica, how many more do we have in the queue? And we definitely need to close the queue since Hank needs to go soon. But I'll stick it out and I'll finish whatever we've got. Can I do that actually?
You don't have the ability to end the stream.
I don't, so...
There's one after you.
Perfect. We can do that. All right. And Gina is a general. All right. Perfect. So guys, no more joining the queue. We're going to do these last 2 readings and then we're going to be done for the night. Thank you so much though. This has been awesome. And especially thank Hank. This has been so much fun having him here with us. So that's been excellent.
Thank you. So general reading, and this is, some people don't like when this card comes up. It's the Tower card, but like in the way,
I love the Tower.
In esoteric readings, this is the divine masculine. It is the will of the soul, where like the hangman would be the divine feminine. And what this is like the passion of the soul is welling up so much that it could burst forth, but you could also decide to take down the walls that it might have been built up that is preventing you from fully stepping into authenticity. All my readings, I do mainly soul path readings. So like I'm always looking at the way that this relates to you on your soul path. And there's a lot of power, there's a lot of potency, and using it intentionally, you can have a hugely transformational time. And we have the 6 of Cups. This is a key where, well, one, more modernly, it might mean somebody from your past is coming in, but the older way of reading it is, do not sacrifice who you are. You have to bend without breaking. If you are sacrificing who you are and you're not actually speaking your truth, or it's really important for you to get your words out, to speak your truth but soothe your words with peace. That's the real key. You got to be you. You can tailor how you're saying it or what you're doing for it to be received, but you got to be you. And then the 9 of Wands, it's like, what I'm feeling is that you might put a lot of work into things, and it's like a bow and arrow. You're pulling back the bow and arrow, and like right before the final thing, you might stop. And so like you just take that final step, that little extra thing, and just let your arrows fly. And part of the holding back is you'd much rather be judged for what you're not doing than doing something that's truly from the heart, and then being judged for your authenticity and then that hurting. So it feels like there might be some deep criticism wounds or things like that. But let your arrows fly. There is a responsibility on the other side to do work to how they're receiving you. So it's 2 sides. But as long as you're doing everything you can with as much integrity as you can without sacrificing who you are, that is the recipe for you to really have a whole new chapter of a new octave of what the soul came to express and experience.
So Gina, interesting. I'm getting some greatest hits are coming up. We've got the Hermit again, but this time it came out first. And so interesting thing. The last one, it felt like for Oyo is about honoring their right to be an introvert sometimes. This one actually feels like we've been spending a little too much time here and we're overthinking, which is really interesting. You can get the same card and it can mean something completely different. Now, it doesn't mean that this is bad necessarily, but what is happening is it feels like we're spending so much time on this self-introspection, we're not moving on to the next thing. And that is leading to a lot of second guessing. And so we're going back to the basics. We're going back to this and this meditation, this alone time or whatever. And I feel like you are ready to take it to the next step, whatever that is. I feel like it might actually be spiritual work, Gina. It might be spiritual path. The next card I got was the Sun, and look at this. Oh my God, gorgeous, abundance, beautiful celebration of life happening here. And what this was telling me is we are doing so much of this that we're missing out on this. And the sunflower's turning towards the sun. I need you to be a sunflower, Gina, and I want you to start turning towards the sun a little bit. I don't mean literally the sun. It could be. There could be some vitamin D stuff going on there, and the need to go out and ground and be in nature with other people. And these might not actually even be people. This might be other reflections of you, right? This could be spiritual helpers. There's a lot of things that this could represent. I'm going to leave that up to you to interpret because I think you will know more than I will what that is. The other one I got was 8 of Pentacles. And this is actually, I think, why this has to do with the spiritual message, because of this witch in here crafting all her potions. And Pentacles have come up an awful lot today. So there's definitely a lot of work we all need to do on our resources, how we use them, how we hoard them. And I think this is, whatever this thing is that you're doing, that you're working on, you are hitting a groove with it. You're getting to a place where the things that you are creating for yourself spiritually are excellent, and you don't need to go back here because you're already here, right? You're already here. You've got this stuff going on. And so I feel like that is maybe a confidence issue and a permission to move up, to move forward with your spiritual practice. So this is the moment where I'm giving you permission, okay? You didn't need to wait for me, Brooke, personally, but this is the universe saying you have permission. You're already doing the thing. You're already great at it. So start enjoying that, right? I also got affirmation for acceptance, which I think that's where, when this one popped up, I was like, oh, overthinking and like planning, but we're not, we're reading the book of fate and we're like, oh, well, that's not for me. That's for other people. It's definitely for you. Look at the dice there that she's got along her. And she's spending so much time on this plan of what she's going to do that she may not be paying attention to what's coming up behind her, right? So at some point, you just have to give over and give fate the attention that it needs, because it's going to happen no matter what you do, no matter how much you plan. The thing is going to happen. But you, a member, can choose how you deal, how you feel, and how you're going to move forward through that. And honestly, there's a little bit of freedom when we get past this, right? And move on and get past that planning. When the thing actually happens, there's kind of like, even if it's really horrible or tower-like, it also, and not that the tower's horrible, but sometimes a tower moment can feel pretty catastrophic. But it can be very freeing when you get past that. Oh, I was so worried about this and now it's done, and I can just enjoy or move on and enjoy the process. I think some really good things are coming, Gina. So I wouldn't be too scared about this. I think it's time to give over and enjoy that freedom. And you are way better at whatever this is than you think you are.
Very good.
And who's next, or last, actually? Our last reading for the night? Sapphire Manga? What a great name. I love that. Or it's manga, not manga, probably. Beautiful.
Let's see. So I pulled an oracle card for this too, but like the first card that came through, so again, the way I record cards, which include the ace, this is the divine feminine, and it's the fire. So this is like, there's a lot of pure passion of the soul coming through right now. It's almost like impulsive, like things that you may be drawn to do right now. And there's a lot of skipping around, because the world card for me, this is one of my cards for a master manifester. So you're one of those people too. Like here's the difference. My teacher would say that the destiny of the soul, the destiny is like the theme of what your soul came to do. Like maybe you want to feed people, and you could do that as a homemaker, you could do that as a hot dog cart vendor, you could do that as a 5-star chef, you could open a soup kitchen, you could open a soup kitchen in every city in every country around the world. And so it's just different octaves of the theme of expression. But when you're a master manifester, what happens is you're so good at doing things that you do something, you lose interest, and then it's the next thing, then you lose interest, and you keep thinking it's the next thing. But the truth is, it's all the thing, and it's really just a matter of what's the most fun for you. And it's all about being in community with it. And for you, you're a collaborator, and things, it feels like there might be a wound where maybe collaboration bit you in the butt one time, but there really is this energy of collaboration that you excel when you're working with someone. And the big difference is you don't create for each other, you're creating with each other. If you're creating for somebody, it's not going to work. It really has to be a true Yanantan partnership where everybody is putting into the creation more than they're taking out, and that you're actually working in collaboration, not competition, and all those things. And I pulled a healing card because it feels like there's a wound that prevents this fully stepping into this ability to work this way. And we got Mikwi, which means to digest. And this is all about asking the earth, Mother, take this heaviness from me. Puchimikwi Pachamama in Quechua. But it says, are you struggling to process something you swallowed, like a resentment or shame? Allow the intention of digesting dense energy to assist you. There are so many ways. Try the breath of fire, blow the dark feelings into a stone and bury it. Belly to the ground, just release it into the earth. The heavier the energy, the happier the earth is to digest it. And the real key with that, when you're letting go of things, is it's not bad things that happened. It is beautiful contrast for the soul. And when you look at it that way, you can let go of that heaviness with great gratitude, because without it, you wouldn't know the blessings that are about to come, because it's all about the experientiality, and you have to have the opposite. So if you can really look at letting go of the trauma and drama, you keep the pearl of wisdom, and you move forward, and you can really step into a whole new chapter of being able to work with people again in a very passionate way that fulfills the soul.
And I've got the Two of Cups here, and this definitely feels like a partnership, a collaboration.
I love it.
It does. I was like, you said that, and I was like, yep, So this is definitely about a collaboration, and it might be with more than two people, but there is at least one specific person that it's more intimate with. Intimate does not necessarily mean romance, although this is showing a romantic collaboration here, and I think it's more about this actually than these. I think it's more about these two. It's the sharing. It's the, I'm giving you the shrimp, I think it is, or fish, and and I feel like that's more about what this collaboration is that we're working on. So you are definitely the fish giver, and the other person is the receiver. But that, as long as that's not out of balance, it'll be like this. So we just need to make sure that we are, to use a bumper sticker catchphrase, giving as much as we're receiving, right? You want to make sure that you are not being neglected. And guess whose job that is? That's you. That's not someone else's job. Don't spend your time going, oh, well, they didn't even think about me. They didn't do that, because that is not going to serve you at all, honey. It's also not going to help them. So you want to make sure that the giving as well as receiving, that's your responsibility, to make sure that your needs are being met. Because if they're not meeting them, you need to meet them, right? And so that's really what this feels like it's about to me. Also, we got the 9 of Pentacles. Look at that. Lots of pentacles tonight, right? Lots of abundance talk. But I want you to see what this, it's funny, this normally comes up to me about like kind of like the other one of like the harvest is super coming. You just need to sit back, relax, and enjoy. But this actually feels like we've done the work and we're ignoring it. Like it's ready to be picked, but we're too busy doing whatever this is, which is interesting. This feels to me like there is definitely an abundance that you are ignoring and not listening to. And why? Why are you doing that? You've put in the work. You've done the thing. It's ready to be gifted to you. Don't, get yourself so distracted by other things, maybe escapism. I love reading a book, though. This is not about don't read, because reading is amazing. And escapism can be amazing, too. That's the whole reason why it's here. That's why we have it, because it can help put us in a better place. But there's something that you're definitely ignoring, and it's a fruitful amount of abundance that you've put in the work. And so now it's time to do the harvesting work. You've cultivated, you've grown it. It's there. It's gotta what you don't want is for it to overripe on the vine and, fall to the ground and be good for nobody, right? Other than, yes, the earth, and it will go back there. And that's amazing. But this is for you. This is your thing that you're not taking that final step, that final whatever it is, and getting it. And this is where you should be. Also, Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Look at that. This is... I'm hearing in my head, everything's gonna be all right. Not that we want to get Twitch banned, but I'm hearing that in my head. Like it is good. There is so much goodness and wealth of friends and love and support around you. And I feel like this good work and taking care of yourself leads to this, right? Maybe this is ignoring your needs, right? There's something that you've done that's really good that you are not paying attention to back there. Maybe because someone has taught you not to pay attention to your needs. That person is they're not the thing. Pay attention to your needs. Your needs are just as important. In fact, for you, more important than everyone else's. You put the mask on you first before you put it on the child in the airplane, right? It's that there's a reason for that. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're literally no good to anyone else. But this is interesting. The oracle is acceptance for positive change. I feel like there is a transformation. There's an adventure. This is where you're heading. If you let yourself by throwing off the things that are binding you and go for your pirate adventure. Whatever your pirate adventure is, take it, do it, escape to that place, to that is freedom. Right? That is freedom for this lovely pirate lady who has been a princess, who has been held down by all of her responsibilities and all of the stuff that she's piled on. She's literally taken that off and is on her way to that adventure. And I feel like this is a part of that. There's a big thing that you're ignoring. So I don't know what that is, but I bet you do. So... harvest it. Go to the adventure. Take all of that fruit with you on that awesome adventure that you're heading towards, okay? I hope that makes sense.
Awesome. That was awesome. And I love that I ended up picking that Oracle deck, the Peruvian one, and they said that they were actually born in Peru until the age of 17.
Oh, wow.
So
love it.
That Huchamiqui card was probably more meaningful, hopefully. But anyway, that was awesome. That was a lot of fun doing the readings with you.
Thank you. I had so much fun too. We had a lot of awesome people here today too. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to get to do these readings for you. We really enjoy it. And Hank, I've really enjoyed spending time with you. So I hope you come back.
Yep.
You're always welcome.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We will catch you next Woo Woo Wednesday, I do believe. Bye, everyone.
Yep.